Hi everybody, Jim Thomas here. Let's talk hybrid service. Let's talk specifically about a component of hybrid service which allows the people in the sanctuary to have a sense of community with the people in Zoom. The best way to do that is to be able to show the Zoom gallery inside of the sanctuary. Now this will work if you have at least one display that you control from your production computer inside of the sanctuary. Now imagine, if you will, that this is that display, and what you're looking at would represent the Zoom speaker. So that's one thing that needs to be seen. You want to be able to switch from the Zoom speaker to Zoom gallery so that you can see all of those folks over there. And then you also want to be able to switch to whatever presentation software so people can see this inside of the sanctuary as well as in Zoom when you share the screen. We need to make a change in Zoom, make sure that certain settings are set. We need to go into OBS and make a scene with a couple of sources, and we need to add in a plugin. After that, there's a couple little tricks that I'll talk about in order to make it a smooth transition to go from one source to the next, and then you'll be good to go. So follow along. Okay, first let's take a look at Zoom. We want to get a particular setting in Zoom in order to make this thing work. Let me bring up the Zoom settings from the desktop app. So here in the desktop app, I have highlighted the two settings that I think are very important to make sure that this happens. The first one here is the use of dual monitors. Use dual monitors. Make sure that that is checked. Now this will only work if you have at least a second monitor hooked up to your computer. You can have the setting on, but if you don't have that second monitor, then it's just going to come up normal. But remember, you're producing this and you've got the monitor in the sanctuary, and that's the one we're focused on, so you're all set for that. The other one is always show meeting controls. Make sure that that's turned off. That way the meeting controls don't show up as a distraction when you're moving your mouse and doing other things trying to produce the worship service. Okay, so for OBS, there are two things that we need to do. The first thing that we need to do is we need to create a scene. The scene will contain the sources that we want displayed in the sanctuary for the people attending service. It will also be the same scene that we're going to be sharing via Zoom as well for the Zoomers. The second thing that we want to do is install a plugin, and a specific plugin that will help us switch from scene to scene relatively easily. So let's start off by creating our scene. We'll go down here to the scene panel and click the plus sign, and we'll create a scene called Sanctuary. There it is. There's nothing there, so let's add some sources. I already have sources running. I have Zoom running, and I also have PowerPoint running. So let's add PowerPoint first. We're going to be adding a window capture, and we'll call this PPT. And we'll need to look and see if we can find the PowerPoint that we need. And so notice that there are three PowerPoints in here. This one is the editor, this one's the presenter view, this one is the actual slideshow which we want to add. So I'll click on that, and there it is. We don't want to capture the cursor, and so that looks good, and we'll go ahead and save. Quick note, if I had minimized both the editor and the presenter view, they would not have showed up in the pick list. Something to keep in mind if you're going to be doing this a lot. So now let's add the Zoom screen. The same thing is going to happen. We're going to do a window capture. We'll call this Zoomers. And click OK. That's not the screen we want, so let's see if we can find it. It's Zoom meeting. Nope. It could be this Zoom. It could be that Zoom. So I'll pick one, see if it's the right one. This is not the right one. This is the Zoom app, so let me go to the other one. I'll click that, and it is blank. And the reason why it's blank is because the capture method isn't accurate. Sometimes it'll be black, sometimes it'll be white, so we need to change that. So by clicking on the capture method, I get a pick list of 3 different options. I know the automatic doesn't work. I've tried this before, and for here, Windows 10 seems to work. And there it is. You see the OBS screen because I don't have the virtual camera on, and the virtual camera is what Zoom thinks is my web camera, and that's why you see that. But this is the screen that will show, if I had more people logged into Zoom, it would show that gallery mode. And speaker mode if we spotlight somebody. So I'm going to say OK, and that is done. Now we move on to the second one. The second one is we need to install a plugin to make it easy to switch from source to source. And we do that by going to the Help button and clicking on Visit Website. So the website comes in, looks like this. It's the obsproject.com. Click on Forum. Once you're in Forum, go and click on Resources, and then swing over here and click on Search. Type into the search area, Source Toggler, and then instead of Everywhere, let's change that to Resources, and then Search. We got 2 hits. The first one, Random Toggler, sounds fun, but that's not the one we want. We'll go with Source Toggler. The second one brings us to the Source Toggler page, and then all we have to do is download. Now, to install this, we need to go back to OBS, and under Tools, we'll go over to Scripts. And in this panel here, we want to add the scripts, so we'll click on Add, and it'll open up the area where OBS wants to put the scripts, and that works well with me. I want to put that script in there. It's not there now, so I need to get it there. And to get it there, all I need to do is bring up my Downloads folder, which has the Source Toggler in it. We just put it in there, and we're just going to grab that and just move it into the folder as such. Then it's selected, we hit Open, and it has added it to OBS. The next step is to then take the sanctuary scene and add it into the Scenes and Groups panel. Now, unfortunately, we won't get a pick list for this, but we can just type the name in. Make sure you type it in properly. Click OK, and then click Close. You'll see that the 2 sources are visible. I can make zoomers invisible, for instance, and that allows the PowerPoint to be seen. Now, if I click zoomers back again, notice that the PowerPoint screen has now become invisible. And if I click on the PowerPoint, the zoomers automatically become invisible. So this allows us to go ahead and switch from source to source without having to worry about what order the source is in and to turn one off so we can see the other. To make things even easier, you can create buttons on your Stream Deck or in Touch Portal or on Companion for Stream Deck so that you have an outside source to be able to switch the sources that is seen inside of the sanctuary. And that's pretty much the size of it. Another tip for using Zoom is it has these hotkeys. Alt F1 puts Zoom into speaker mode, and so you can see that single zoomer who is speaking. And then Alt F2 puts Zoom back into gallery mode, which can be very important because you'll want to switch back and forth between the 2. You can use your Touch Portal or your Stream Deck or whatever to configure the Alt F1 and Alt F2 keystrokes into buttons so you can switch back and forth. And then you'll be ready to go. It's a little bit complex. That's why we're taking this at small chunks at a time. Join our Discord channel. The link is down below in the description. We have people who have been working on hybrid services for a while. They're happy to share their knowledge with you, answer your questions. If you have been producing a hybrid service, we'd love to hear some of the things that you've run into in your fixes and some of the whatever advice that you may want to give us or anybody else about how to better approach a hybrid service or even aspects of the hybrid service. So I hope to hear from you as we go along through this process. Keep improving. See you next time.